I was with my ex for 9 years. 9 years where he was my entire world. And then one day, he decided I wasn't good enough to be his wife. Months later, he came back, and he wouldn't leave me alone. So now I'm asking myself, did I handle this the right way, or did I make things worse? I'll call my ex Nate, and if I'm being honest, minus betraying a friend, I was basically a Cassie. For almost 9 years, I completely lost myself in that relationship. Nate was my world. Everything I did was for him. I helped him through depression. I helped him get and keep his grades up. I even worked 2 jobs so he could focus on college. At the time, his parents had disowned him for nearly 3 years because they didn't agree with his choice of college or his major. And just to be clear, I was also a college student. Eventually, his parents came back into his life. They started talking to him again and financially supporting him. That's when we moved into a new apartment together. Nate told me it was my turn to be taken care of. He wanted me to quit my job. I didn't, but for about 16 months, everything felt perfect. He spoiled me, he was attentive, it felt like we had finally made it. Then things started to change. He became more interested in his new friends. Sometimes he ignored me completely. Back in December, he suddenly did a complete 180. He love-bombed me the entire month. He went out of his way to make Christmas magical. I genuinely believed he was going to propose on January 2nd. That night, he cooked my favorite dinner and gave this long speech about how I was his first love, how I'd been there since high school, how important I was to him. I kept thinking, any minute now he's going to ask me to marry him. But he didn't. Instead, he dumped me. As his speech continued, my world fell apart. No matter how much he tried to sugarcoat it, what he was really saying was this: "You were a good girlfriend, but that's all you'll ever be to me. I don't see you as my wife. I don't see you as the mother of my children. You served your purpose, now I don't need you anymore. I need someone on my level. You're a gold digger. I'll give you 30 days to move out." I couldn't speak. He just stared at me, waiting for a reaction. That silence lasted almost 20 minutes. Then he said he'd sleep in the guest room and walked away. Strangely, I didn't cry. I didn't get angry. I ordered cardboard boxes online and went to bed. The next day, I waited until he left the apartment before leaving my room. Then I called my boss. I begged her to transfer me anywhere. She said there was nothing available right now, but if something opened up in my department, she'd consider me. After that, I reached out to everyone I knew who wasn't also Nate's friend. My cousin invited me to stay in her spare room for as long as I needed. I could move in immediately. In the 4 days it took me to pack and move out, I didn't see or speak to Nate once. Honestly, I doubt he even noticed. I didn't trust myself to ignore a late-night "you up" text, so I blocked him. I blocked everyone close to him. I even changed my number and my email so he couldn't reach me. The first night at my cousin's place was when everything hit me. I cried almost every night for the first month. I felt like absolute shit. I replayed his words over and over in my head. It made me feel like I was nothing, like he only stayed with me because I was convenient. Thankfully, my cousin stepped in. She called my mom, my other cousins, and my real friends. They basically staged an intervention. Looking back, I truly don't think I would have survived that first month without her. I'm still healing. I'm still waiting on that job transfer. I feel like once I'm not in the same city as Nate and have a place of my own, a fresh start will finally be possible. By now, I honestly thought I'd be a distant memory to him, but I was wrong. On my birthday, he sent flowers to my job. Apparently, he'd also gone to my parents' house looking for me. My mom admitted he'd been there before, dropping off random things and asking questions about me. They told him to fuck off. The flowers came with a card. It said, "Dear Cassie, happy belated birthday. I've been thinking about you non-stop for the last few months, especially with how everything ended. I need to get something off my chest, something that will haunt me for the rest of my life if I don't tell you this to your face. I have no way of contacting you. If it's possible, can we meet up sometime soon? Nate. What could he possibly want? What was so important that he needed to say it to my face? Everyone in my life told me to ignore him, but they hate him, and I'll admit it, my curiosity got the better of me. We ended up meeting, but I didn't go looking for him. I had already told the receptionist at my job that if he came asking for me again to say I was out for the day, I didn't want the drama at work. Instead, Nate started showing up at my usual places, the grocery store I go to on Saturday evenings, the park I run on Sunday mornings. His words. He said he was hoping I'd eventually run into me, and he did. Yesterday, he was waiting at the coffee shop I go to after my morning run. When I saw him, I tried to turn around and leave. He kept calling my name. I thought to myself, if this goes badly, a coffee shop is safer than the walk home. So I sat down and asked him what he wanted. He gave me an apology that wasn't really an apology. You know the type. I'm sorry, but pity me. He blamed his mental health, his job, his parents, his friends, everyone but himself. I took someone's advice I'd read online and said, cut the crap, I already know everything. He looked genuinely shocked. I think he assumed his coworker had already told me the truth, so he couldn't lie anymore. Here's what actually happened. He fell for a woman in his office. When he told me her name, I knew exactly who she was. I'd met her a few times. For the last 2 years, he idolized her. He admitted he hated me because I was the one standing in the way of them being together. He broke up with me because he confessed his love to her and ended a 9-year relationship to be with her. And here's the part that still makes me laugh. She doesn't even like him. She called him a piece of trash and told him if he ever spoke to her outside of work, she'd report him to HR. So I asked him what any of this had to do with me. We were over. I had cut ties. There was no reason for us to be talking. He said he wanted to try again. He promised me'd get married before the end of the year. He said we belonged together. I told him no. I'm nobody's second choice. He threw me away after 9 years and said some incredibly cruel things, and now he thought I'd come running back? He begged, he fake cried, he brought up the good times. I told him to leave me alone. I texted my cousin to come meet me. The 20 minutes it took her to arrive felt like 20 years. In the end, I stopped listening. I stood at the counter making small talk with the baristas until my cousin showed up. She told him to fuck off and said if he followed us, she'd call her brothers. As far as I know, he stayed in the coffee shop. We went home. That was it. It's only been a day, but for the first time in a long time, I feel free. So now I'm wondering, did I handle this the right way? Should I have ignored him completely, or was meeting him the closure I needed? What would you have done? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy stories like this, subscribe to Story Vault for more dramatic Reddit stories and moral dilemmas.